Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Shri Caitanya-Siksastakam ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you once again, dear Param Karuna Prabhu, for kindly being the host today. I'm also very thankful to Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu Prabhu. Usually he performs the role of being the host, but he's busy today. But still, my sincere thanks to him for being the host for so many weeks. And we hope to see him next week. And also, thank you, all of you, dear wonderful devotees, for kindly being present here today. I'm so happy to see you. Last week, we could not organize this particular talk as I was traveling for Sri Nityanand Trayodashi, but I'm back in Mumbai, and dear devotees, we are resuming Shri Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam, and today is the 18th session on Shri Caitanya-Siksastakam. And in the Mangalacharan, the final verse we chant is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And we chant it loudly for everyone to hear. So, dear devotees, the discussion is centered around audible utterance of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And in the previous week, we saw lots of details around that audible utterance and a certain difference of opinion that had arisen. We'll summarize all of that today and we'll try to move ahead. Welcome once again, dear devotees, to the 18th session of Shri Caitanya-Siksastakam. Before we move ahead, I'll sing the verse that was composed for this first verse of Shri Siksastakam. Siksashtakaamritabdhau yo majjanmajjayati svakan sagaurangastatastham mam kadabdhau krakshyati swayam. While drowning himself, Sri Gauranga simultaneously causes his near and dear ones to drown in the nectar ocean of Siksastakam. I am a mere bystander waiting at the shore. When will Sri Gauranga forcibly pull me in that nectar ocean? Dear devotees, our practice is to have a new realization in every session on Sri Harinam at the beginning. And so in this session too, there's a wonderful verse by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur from his Anuragavalli. And this verse is in the meter Vasanta Tilakam. Deharbuddhani Bhagavan Yugapat Prayacha Vaktrarbudani cha punah pratidehameva Jivarbudani kripaya prativakrameva Nrityantu teshu tavanath gunarbudani. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is requesting Bhagavan, is requesting the Lord, Bhagavan, Yugapat Deharbudani Prayacha. Bhagavan, kindly grant me 100 million bodies at once. Bhagavan may say, but Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, one body is painful enough. Why do you want 100 million bodies at once? And he doesn't stop there. He says, Vaktrar Budhani cha punah pratidehameva. In each of those 100 million bodies, grant me 100 million mouths. And then he doesn't stop there. He says, Jihvar Budhani kripaya prativaktrameva. And in each of those 100 million mouths, on those 100 million bodies, grant me 100 million tongues. But the most important condition comes in the end. Nrityantu teshu tavanatha gunarbudani. Teshu, on each and every one of those tongues, Nath, O Lord, tava guna arbudani nrityantu. Let 100 million qualities of yours perform a wonderful dance. So dear devotees, this is Sri Vishwanath Thakur expressing a wonderful desire of having 100 million bodies, and in each body 100 million mouths, and in each mouth 100 million tongues, and on each tongue 100 million qualities of Bhagavan, so that he can perform a wonderful kirtan. In this way, dear devotees, we are continuing the first verse of Shri-Caitanya-Siksastakam, Chetoddarpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavag Nirvapanam Shreyah Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate śrī-kṛṣṇa-saṅkīrtanam. And we are currently on the final phrase, the final compound term, śrī-kṛṣṇa-sankirtanam, and the final phrase, param vijayate śrī-kṛṣṇa-sankirtanam. Param Karuna Prabhu, kindly read the translation only of the highlighted final phrase.
That entity named Śrī-kṛṣṇa-saṅkīrtanam reigns supremely victorious.
So that entity named Shri Krishna's Sankirtan is Param Vijayate. It reigns supremely victorious. And in the previous session, dear devotees, we saw Pramana's proofs related to Kirtan of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because amongst all types of Nam Kirtan, the most prominent one that can be found amongst Gaudiya Vaishnavas is Mahamantra Kirtan. And Mahamantra Kirtan is very nice. Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu also performed it. But we saw last time that in the history of the Sampradaya, there arose a difference of opinion. And for the sake of giving accurate history, we also gave the names of the personalities who were involved in that particular difference of opinion. And very respectfully, we cited the differences of opinion that we had. So we know that the personality who propagated a new chant, and we gave the new chant beginning with Bhajanitai Gaur Radhesham, and his name was Charan Das Babaji. His complete name was Radha Raman Charan Dev Das Babaji. But he also performed Mahamantra Kirtan on 1 or 2 occasions in his life, and we gave instances of that. But specifically during that Kirtan too, he started counting. Then we gave Pramana's proofs from Srila Rupa Goswami's Stavamala and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami's Stavavali about how Mahaprabhu was performing Sankhya Kirtan, or he was uttering Mahamantra loudly, but he was doing that as part of his japa, because loud japa falls under the category of Kirtan. Therefore, Mahaprabhu was performing audible japa, and this japa was of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then we also saw Pramana's proofs from Sri Govinda Das's Kadcha, his diary, and Sri Kavi Karnapur's Chaitanya Charita Mahakavyam about Mahaprabhu performing or asking others to perform Kirtan of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and there was no counting involved. So we saw Sankhya Kirtan and Asankhya Kirtan, examples of both of them. Also, we saw objections by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur against the newly created chant. And these objections, there were 3 main objections, and they were published in the Gaudiya magazine. Finally, we also saw statements by Sri Radha Govindanath and Sri Kanupriya Goswami that favor the Kirtan without counting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And all of this was covered in the previous session, dear devotees. Today, we are going to explore another book dedicated specifically to this topic. This book, dear devotees, is named Tarak Brahma Mahamantra Nama Jap O Kirtan Vidhan. The meaning is Tarak Brahma. What is the meaning of Tarak Brahma? Tarak Brahma, Brahma refers to Shabda Brahma, Brahma refers to a mantra. So Tarak Mantra, the great delivering mantra. And what is that? Maha Mantra. And what in relation to Maha Mantra? Nama Japa O Kirtan Vidhan. So the Vidhan, the rules, regulations for Nama Japa and Kirtan. So this book was published by Sri Kishori Das Babaji in around 1907. And in this book, he goes in great detail to explore the tradition of Mahamantra Kirtan. And specifically, dear devotees, will also introduce the personality, Sri Kishori Das Babaji, who he was, where he stayed. But this book is a source of good research. And this book begins, dear devotees, with the mention of a wonderful Shila. Param Karuna Prabhu, do you know, can you tell us what is the meaning of a Shila?
A stone, a piece of stone.
A piece of stone, yeah. The general Sanskrit meaning of Shila is stone. And Shila also refers to Bhagavan who appears in the form of a worshipable deity as a stone. So that is also Shila. So this book begins with a description of a Nam Brahma Shila. And dear devotees, this Nam Brahma Shila is a particular Shila, a particular worshipable form of the Lord, which is having the Maha Mantra engraved upon it. Dear devotees, this is the darshan of the Nam Brahma Shila. And you can see the, roughly, if those of us who can read Bangla, you can see Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that is written on the Shila, dear devotees. The Shila, he said, that is originally belonging to Sri Madhavendra Puri. And it is Sri Madhavendra Puri who was worshipping this Shila, Nam Brahma. Brahma means mantra. Nam Mantra Shila. And Sri Madhavendra Puri, when he visited Sri Hadai Pandit, and he saw the son of Sri Hadai Pandit named Kuvera. Of course, Kuvera later became initiated as Sri Nityanand Prabhu. And he gave this Shila to Sri Nityanand Prabhu. And from Sri Nityanand Prabhu, this Shila came to his son, Sri Veer Chandra Goswami. And from Veer Chandra Goswami, it came to another associate of Sri Nityanand Prabhu named Sri Dhananjay Gopal. And from there, it came to Sri Yadu Chaitanya. The reason why I'm mentioning this entire history is because when this particular Nam Brahma Shila was given, at that particular point of time, a particular instruction was also given along with the Nam Brahma Shila. So, in the Suchak Kirtan, in the Kirtan which describes this incident, the following is mentioned. Dhananjaya Sutta Thakur Shri Yadu Chaitanya Nam Prem Dane Jini Sarva Agraganya. Dhananjaya Sutta, the son of Sri Dhananjaya Gopal, was Thakur Sri Yadu Chaitanya, Nam Prem Dane Jini Sarva Agraganya. He was foremost in spreading Krishna Nam and Krishna Prem. Dear devotees, one fine day, Sri Veer Chandra Prabhu, the son of Sri Nityanand Prabhu, came to the place where Sri Yadu Chaitanya was residing. Kandara Gramete Aila Prabhu Veer Chandra Shuni darshane gela Shri Yadu Chaitanya Mangal Thakur Adi Kavi Jnana Dāsa Yadure Paiya Savar Parama Ullasa. So once Sri Veerchandra Goswami, the direct son of Nityananda Prabhu, came to the village named Kandara. Hearing this, Sri Yadu Chaitanya went to see him. And there were so many other devotees such as Mangal Thakur, Jnanadas Kavi, who found supreme happiness on receiving Sri Yadu Chaitanya. Dear devotees, when Sri Veerchandra Prabhu, Sri Veerchandra Goswami met Sri Yadu Chaitanya, at that particular point of time, something happened. Sri Veerchandra Goswami gave the Nam Brahma Shila, gave the Shila consisting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra to Sri Yadu Chaitanya and gave him some instructions regarding Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Please hear the instructions. Rada Deshe Ugra Kshatri Ganera Nivasa Nama Prema Diyakara Bhaktira Prakasha Etabali Kulile Samputa Apani Shelalipi Nama Brahma Diya Jayadvani. Sri Veerchandra Prabhu said to Sri Yadu Chaitanya, there are many fierce Kshatriyas in Rad Desh. Today, Rad Desh is also known as Rar. It is, you can search for it, Rar region. So Rad Desh is in West Bengal and Jharkhand. So Jharkhand and West Bengal, some of that area today is known as Rar region. Previously, it was known as Rad Desh. So in Rad Desh, there are many fierce Kshatriyas. You should eliminate bhakti in them by giving them Nam and Prem. Saying this, Sri Veerchandra Prabhu opened his small casket, Samputa, and gave the Nam Brahma Shila of Sri Madhavendra Puri to Sri Yadu Chaitanya. And everywhere there was the sound of Jai Jai. The devotees, after that, Sri Veerchandra Goswami said something. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dar Bap Nam Brahma, Karah Prachara, Kalihat Janagane, Karah Uddhara. Sri Veerchandra Prabhu further said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hold the Nam Brahma Shila with you and propagate this mantra, because this mantra was written on the Nam Brahma Shila. And he said, propagate this mantra and thereby deliver the living entities who are afflicted by the effects of Kali Yuga. Dear devotees, this was an instruction, direct instruction to spread the kirtan of Hare Krishna Mahamantra by the direct son of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Veerchandra Goswami. And along with this instruction, the Shila, this is the Nam Brahma Shila, which has Hare Krishna Mahamantra engraved on it. This Mahamantra Shila was given to Sri Yadu Chaitanya Thakur. Dear devotees, even today, if somebody wants to have darshan of this Nam Brahma Shila, they can visit the Shripat, Nam Brahma, which is in Alaipur village in Ghoshpada, Nadia district, West Bengal. Dear devotees, so this particular place you can visit even today to have darshan of Nam Brahma Shila, which was originally worshipped by Sri Madhavendra Puri. From him it came to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. From him it came to Sri Veerchandra Goswami. And in that lineage of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, even today you can find this Nam Brahma Shila and have darshan of it. So dear devotees, along with the Nam Brahma Shila came the instruction to propagate Nam Brahma, to propagate Sri Hari Nam Mahamantra. And this instruction was given by the direct son of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So we should not have any doubts in this regard that Hare Krishna Mahamantra is also for propagation in Kirtan. Dear devotees, Besides this, there are some other pramanas, there are some other proofs which specify the kirtan of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Sri Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya has composed Shri Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam, 100 verses in glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In one of the verse, Sri Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya says, Shranvanti ye vai guru tattva gatham gayanti yatnair harinam mantram pujanti sadhum gurudevatam cha chaitanya bhakta kalikala madhye. Shrinvanti ye, those who hear Guru Tattva Gatham, topics of Guru Tattva. Gayanti yatnair, and those who take great efforts to sing aloud. Sing aloud what? Harinam mantram, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because there is only one particular Harinam mantram which was a mantra which was being sung regularly. That is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Pujanti sadhum, and those who worship the sadhus. Gurudevatam cha, and revered Gurujanas. They are Chaitanya Bhakta. They are devotees of Sri Chaitanya. Kali Kala Madhya, in this age of Kali. Dear devotees, this is Shri Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam of Sri Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, which has a reference to the singing of Harinam Mahamantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Another reference is found in the writings of Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati, who in his Vrindavan Mahimamritam says, Hare Krishna Krishneti Krishneti Mukhyan Mahascharya Namavali Siddha Mantran Kripamurti Chaitanya Devopagitan Kadabhyasya Vrindavane Syam Kritartha. Kada, when shall it be that I shall attain complete fulfillment, Kritartha, in Sri Vrindavan, by Abhyasya, by repeatedly chanting that greatly astonishing perfected mantra, Mahascharya Namavali Siddha Mantra, that was sung far and wide, Upagitan, by mercy personified Sri Chaitanya Dev. And which mantra? He says in the first line, Hare Krishna Krishneti Krishneti Mukhyan, that mantra which prominently begins with Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Without a doubt, dear devotees, he is speaking of the singing of Hare Krishna Mahamantra by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let's not have any particular doubt in this regard, that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra can not only be uttered in japa, can not only be sung in kirtan, solitary kirtan, but can also be glorified in public sankirtan. So this, dear devotees, are so many pramanas. Dear devotees, as I said, the book on Tarak Brahma Mahamantra, which was authored by Sri Kishori Das Babaji. This is one photograph, one rare photograph of Sri Kishori Das Babaji. And you can see his tilak, very similar to the tilak which we devotees from ISKCON and Gaudiya Math put. You can see his tilak carefully. So this is Sri Kishori Das Babaji, and he was the Mahant. He was the main in charge of Chaitanya Doba. What is Chaitanya Doba? Chaitanya Doba is the birthplace of Sri Ishwar Puri. So those who are going to Kolkata, and they can take a small trip to Chaitanya Doba, which is in Hali Shahar, and there is a big temple dedicated to Sri Ishwar Puri. In that temple, the Mahant was Sri Kishori Das Babaji, and Sri Kishori Das Babaji published many books, especially in the Bangla language. In the Bengali language, he published many books. And in those books, dear devotees, he specifically glorified Mahamantra Kirtan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life. So dear devotees, in this particular book on Tarak Brahma Mahamantra, he specifically has a section which says Uchchai Sware Tarak Brahma Mahamantra Nam Sankirtan Vishay. So, on the topic of audible Sankirtan of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that too without counting, he has taken the opinions of the great learned Pandits of many places around India. And then he says which all places he has consulted, which all Pandits. And he said the desired conclusion regarding loud utterance of the great delivering Mahamantra Nam Kirtan from the learned Gaudiya Vaishnava Pandits. Dear devotees, all of these Pandits are Gaudiya Vaishnavas from Sri Dham Navadvip, Sri Vrindavan, Sri Kshetra, and Bhattapalli. Bhattapalli is today known as Bhatpara. It is in Kolkata. These are the places where the Pandits were consulted regarding audible utterance of Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan. And all of these Pandits sent in their conclusions regarding Mahamantra Kirtan. And dear devotees, he has published all of them in his book. So this is not something which only Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was speaking. All the Pandits from all the Gaudiya Vaishnava families, they sent their conclusion. And we can also understand by this that this had become a very important, much discussed topic amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas of that time. We can understand the gravity of the situation, that should Hare Krishna Mahamantra be chanted in Kirtan or not, because it is a mantra. And Param Karuna Prabhu, this mantra is given in which particular literature?
In the śrī-kṛṣṇa-saṅkīrtanam Upanishad.
Right. So in the Kali Santarana Upanishad, this particular Mahamantra is mentioned. And Prabhu, Upanishads are belonging to which literature? Shruti or Smriti?
Shruti, the Vedas.
The Vedas. So the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is technically mentioned in the Vedas. And Prabhu, should all people do all people have the eligibility to utter Veda mantras loudly?
I think the answer is yes.
So we can utter any Veda mantra loudly then?
Actually, no.
No.
You need qualification, like, you need the, yes. So answer is no.
No, you can't utter a Veda mantra loudly like this. So, Hare Krishna mantra being a Veda mantra, how can you utter a Veda mantra loudly, that to give it to anyone and everyone who is not even initiated into that particular Veda? This particular topic became such a topic of contention. You can understand so many Pandits of Navadvip, Vrindavan, Puri, got involved, and they wrote their conclusions. These conclusions were published by Sri Kishoridas Babaji in the book which I mentioned previously, Tarak Brahma Mahamantra Japa O Kirtan Vidhan. So I'll also post that particular book in the Q&A group. But this particular book has the conclusions given by all these learned Vidwans, all these learned Pandits. The Pandits of Sri Navadvip gave the following conclusion. This conclusion is in Sanskrit. Every conclusion was given in Sanskrit, and he also gave a Bengali translation. I'll read a few phrases and then I'll give the translation. They say, Shishtachar Anumitaya Kalau Bhagavannam Sankirtaye Diti Shrutya Namatvena Sakalanam Sankirtanasya Paripraptatvat Ganana Vidhim Antarena Namantara Sankirtanamiva Ganana Vidhim Antarena Pi Hare Krishna Ityadi Tarak Brahma Nam Sankirtanam Bhakta Jani Sarvatra Sarvada Kartum, he says Kartum Shaknuvantah. So this is what he says. The translation, the Pandit said, just as devotees perform kirtan of other names of Bhagavan by giving up counting. For other names, Hari Hare Namah, Krishna 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 He, they do not perform counting. Similarly, they can chant the great delivering Hare Krishna mantra without counting, that too in kirtan. Then the Pandit said, otherwise the so-called counting of names in the Mahamantra will also start applying to other names of Bhagavan. And then counting is recommended for japa, not for kirtan. The conclusion they gave is there is no need of counting in Sankirtan as we do in Japa for Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this was by the learned Pandits of Navadvip at that particular point of time. The same question was posed to the Pandits of Sri Vrindavan by Kishoridas Babaji, and they also gave their conclusion. महामंत्र बोलिया इहा द्वारा जप स्मरण संकीर्तन त्रिविधांग भक्ति याजन संपन्न है. Basically, they are saying through the Mahamantra, it is possible to have all three limbs: Japa, Smaran, Kirtan, Sankirtan. You can use Mahamantra in any particular limb of Bhakti. As a mantra, it can be chanted as Japa with counting. If you treat Hare Krishna as a mantra, Veda mantra, you can chant it as Japa with counting. As Naam, it can be uttered in Kirtan. And as a great delivering chant, it can be loudly sung in Sankirtan with instruments, tunes, dance, etc. And there is no need of counting in such Sankirtan. Finally, the Pandits of Sri Vrindavan said there is no question of any debate here. This is the conclusion of the Pandits here from Sri Vrindavan. So this is the conclusions given by the learned Gaudiya Vaishnavas of Sri Vraja. The Pandits of Sri Kshetra Jagannath Puri said, Ataeva Kripa Parair Achacharyair. So they in their particular Sanskrit commentary, they said, Ishvara Ichhaya Trini Bijani. So they said that, those who are born as Shudras or lower than Shudras have no eligibility in chanting Vedic mantras that have Bijani. Bijani means that have Bijas such as Om, etc. And mantras that end with Namah, etc. So if Vedic mantras contain these Bijas, Om, and if they end with Namaha, then only those who are born as Dvijas, as Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, are eligible to get initiated in those mantras. But the Mahamantra does not have any bija in it. Param Karuna Prabhu, does the Mahamantra have any bija? Does it have any Om? Does it have any Namaha in it?
No.
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 So it can be chanted by all classes of humans and it can be used in Sankirtan by them. The Mahamantra can also be counted as Japa or as uncounted Sankirtan. This is the conclusion of the Pandits of Sri Kshetra Jagannath Puri. Finally, the Pandits of Vattapalli, they gave a long paragraph of their conclusions. The summary of that is, when Hare Krishna is treated as a mantra, it can be chanted as Japa. When it is treated as Naam, it can be chanted as Kirtan without any need to count. The Vishnu Puran states that the names of Hari destroy as many sins as a person is incapable of committing. So how can there be a new aparadh or a new sin on chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra? That was the logic that they gave. And whatever injunctions for counting are seen in relation to the Mahamantra, those are injunctions for Japa. And injunctions without counting are injunctions for Sankirtan. This is the summary from the Vidvans of Vattapalli. So dear devotees, Sri Kishoridas Babaji finally said there are many literature which are written specifically addressing this topic of Mahamantra Kirtan, and he gave the names of some literature which support the utterance of Mahamantra in loud Sankirtan. And the names of some of the literature he gave: Sri Bhuvaneshwar Sadhu Baba's Sri Harinam Mangal. I don't have many of these literatures with me, dear devotees. If any of you ever find some of these literatures, please make sure that you get a scan of it, because these are very rare literature and may contain various valuable logic and arguments for audible Sankirtan of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Although we have seen so many already, but there are many such literature. Sri Bhuvaneshwar Sadhu Baba Sri Harinam Mangal. Then he notes Sri Radha Govindnath, and we know this personality. He wrote a literature called Mahaprabhu Sri Gauranga. Then he says Sri Harendra Das Sharma's Harinam Mahayagya. Then he says Kanupriya Goswami's Nam Chintamani, Sri Upendra Kar's Harinam Sankirtan, Sri Govardhan Das Babaji's Mantra Rahasya, and many other books such as Harinam Mahamantra Sankirtan, etc. He is also very generous, and he lists some books and articles from the opposing side, which oppose the loud utterance of Mahamantra Kirtan, but the number of those books is very few in comparison to these books which support the audible utterance of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Dear devotees, we have done a thorough analysis of the audible utterance of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but our question still remains. The Mahamantra, Param Karuna Prabhu, is in front of us. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Prabhu, in which scripture is this mantra found?
So, Kali Santarana Upanishad, but I think it's the reverse. And then Chaitanya Bhagavat, as you had shown.
Yeah. This is Kali Santarana Upanishad in front of us. It's in Devanagari. Param Karuna Prabhu, I have highlighted the Mahamantra. Please read the Mahamantra. And what comes first? It is Shruti. So you should not read it aloud technically. But what comes first, Prabhu? Does Hare Krishna come first or Hare Ram come first?
Hare Rama.
Hare Ram comes first. And you can see all the published editions of Kali Santarana Upanishad, especially those that are published in southern India, western India, northern India, and you will find this same sequence of Hare Ram coming first. Some time ago, there was a person who's not from the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, who's from another Sampradaya, who made a video about Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he said that perhaps Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reversed the mantra because he wanted everybody to chant the mantra. So this was one thing. Another thing, he also said that in Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the term Hare does not refer to Sri Radha. The term Hare refers to Hari, Shri Krishna. So, especially coming from a person who's not even initiated in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, I found it very surprising and a little amusing that somebody who's not even initiated from a guru and has not learned Hare Krishna Mahamantra in a Sampradaya was making comments over the Hare Krishna mantra, saying that Hare Ram comes first, not Hare Krishna. And we will try to look into it. There are some editions of Kali Santarana Upanishad which have Hare Krishna first, but those editions are published by Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So, when we have such editions of Hare Krishna coming first, and those editions are coincidentally published by Gaudiya Vaishnavas, our doubts increase whether these editions are truly Kali Santarana Upanishad. We'll look into this entire subject matter in detail now. So, this is the Mahamantra as given in Kali Santarana Upanishad. Most of the editions in India, some people say Mahaprabhu flipped it and made it Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, dear devotees, there is also another problem, as I have specified previously in this talk. Sri Vyasadeva has said in Srimad Bhagavatam very specifically in the first canto, Stri Shudra Dvija Bandhunam Traina Shruti Gocharam. Param Karuna Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
The Vedas are inaccessible to those who are born as ladies, Shudras, and Dvijabandhus.
Yes. So if you are born as a Shudra, if you are born in the body of a lady, if you are born as a Dvija, as a Brahman, Kshatriya or Vaishya, but you fell from the standard or you did not take the sacred thread at the proper age, then you are fallen from the position of a Dvija and then you become Dvija Bandhu, merely born in a Brahmin family but fallen from Brahminical standard. So for such people, the Vedas are inaccessible. So, Param Karuna Prabhu, how can such individuals directly chant the Mahamantra from Upanishad?
Waiting for your illumination on this, Prabhuji.
Because if it is an Upanishad mantra, then it is a Veda mantra. And there is not a single mantra in the Veda which can be chanted without initiation from a guru. And especially qualification by birth is required as specified here by Sri Vyasadeva. If somebody is born as a Shudra, somebody also it may be born as a Dvija but has fallen from the standard, or somebody born in a feminine body, then they have no access to the Vedas. Then what can they do? How can they chant Mahamantra? And why is it that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is loudly singing out Hare Krishna Mahamantra to such individuals? And was this the reason that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reversed the mantra? And is anybody allowed to reverse the mantra? Param Karuna Prabhu, what do you think? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reversed the mantra in order to make it all accessible?
So that's what I have heard also, Prabhuji. I'm very, very eagerly looking forward to, getting the right understanding.
All right. So if we understand the personality of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was someone who did not like even a slight modification of Shastra. One time, Sri Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, in his devotional euphoria, he came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and suggested a change in one of the words of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The verse was Tattenukampam susamikshamaano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam radvagvapurbe vidadhan namaste jivet yo mukti pade sadaya bhak. And mukti pade sadaya bhak, the devotee becomes eligible for liberation, mukti. Sri Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya suggested, instead of mukti pade, let's have bhakti pade. Let's change the Srimad Bhagavatam, one word in the Srimad Bhagavatam, so that it will appear more beautiful and suitable. And do you know, Prabhu, what was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's reaction?
Yes, Prabhuji, he did not like it, and he explained to Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya how that word is actually correct and what it means. Mukti Pade.
Yeah. So even though changing mukti to bhakti would have favored the Vaishnava conclusion more, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not change mukti to bhakti because he did not want to see a single change in the Shastra. And now imagine that same Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will reverse an entire mantra given in the Shrutis, in the Vedas, not even in the Puranas, in the Vedas, and he will declare it as, worthy of chanting for everyone. So does that sound very plausible, Prabhu?
Yeah, now that you're building up the argument like you have done, it does not seem plausible.
So it does not seem very plausible that Mahaprabhu will reverse. And in all these literature that we have read till now, like by Sri Radha Govindanath, Sri Kanupriya Goswami, they have not said that Mahaprabhu reversed the mantra. They said Mahaprabhu gave the mantra as it is. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is the mantra that we found in Kali Santarana Upanishad. Kali Santarana Upanishad is Shruti or Veda, as you correctly said. But the Hare Krishna mantra is not to be found in any particular literature. Many people say like that. Fortunately, the tantras come to the rescue, and there is one particular tantra. It is known as Sri Radha Tantra. It is not published by any Gaudiya Vaishnav. Below, Prabhu, you can read the name of the publisher. Can you tell us what is the name of the publisher, Prabhu?
Sampurnanand Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya, Varanasi.
Oh, so it was this Sri Radha Tantram was published from Varanasi, from Sampurnanand Sanskrit College. Sampurnanand was the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh, and the college was named after him. And this Sampurnananda Vishwavidyalaya, Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya, it published Sri Radha Tantram. In Sri Radha Tantram, in the second chapter, we find an interesting verse. Prabhu, can you kindly read the highlighted verse?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare.
Oh
Wonderful.
my goodness. So we found the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the Tantras, in the sequence that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu uttered it. This makes things very interesting. And specifically, it says, the verse above says, Hari Namno Mahamaye Kramam Vada. Speak the sequence of Hari Nam mantra. And then the sequence is listed as Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And this verse is spoken by Sri Vasudev. Bhagavan himself is speaking this mantra. And below it, it says, Dvatrimshad Aksharanyeva Kalau Namani Sarvada. These 32 syllables should always be chanted in the age of Kali. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So in a Tantra literature, which is clearly before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Mahamantra is mentioned with Hare Krishna first. Also, this is not only one edition, another Bengali edition, Prabhu, and you might be able to recognize the same mantra. Isn't it the same mantra, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. I have little bit understanding of the alphabet. Yes, definitely.
Yes. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I am giving Radha Tantra various editions. So that it's not just one edition published by some obscure corner of India. So there are multiple editions I am giving so that we know that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra was found in a Tantra with Hare Krishna first. In the Veda, it was found with Hare Ram first. In the Tantras, it was found with Hare Krishna first. But even in this Tantra, the meaning of the Mahamantra that is given is completely different from the meaning that we chant. Completely different from the meaning that we chant. Still, no problem. At least we found the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the sequence that we desire. But Prabhu, it is not in the Vedas. In which literature was it found?
Tantras. Radha
Tantras.
Tantram.
So, the Hare Ram sequence comes in Veda and the Hare Krishna sequence comes in Tantra. Tantra is also known as Agam. Dear devotees, please note another name for Tantra is Agama. And another name for Veda is Nigama. Vedas are also known as Nigama. Tantras are also known as Agama. So Nigam and Agam, Ved and Tantras. And there is also another Tantra which has no yet published edition, but Gaudiya Vaishnavas say that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is also found in Sanat Kumar Samhita. Maybe in the next talk, I will take up those verses from Sanat Kumar Samhita, but there is no printed edition of Sanat Kumar Samhita as of yet, which has the Mahamantra. It may be in a manuscript format, but at least the printed edition of Sri Radha Tantram from various parts of India has Hare Krishna first in the Mahamantra. Now, we should understand what is the difference between Veda and Tantra, because this is a very important topic. What is Veda? What is Tantra? And let us understand the difference between Vedas and Tantras. The first difference between Veda and Tantra is that the Vedas came from the breathing of Sri Narayan at the beginning of the creation. This is mentioned in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. From the breathing of Bhagavan, all the Vedas arose. So, Prabhu, who is the original author of the Vedas?
Shri Bhagavan Narayana.
Shri Bhagavan. Actually, they are authorless. They are eternal, so there is no author. But from the point of view of a gateway, Shri Narayan acts as the gateway of the emergence of all the Vedas. So, in that sense, he is the author. Tantras, on the other hand, are spoken mainly by Bhagavan Shiva to Parvati Devi and various other associates. So the author of Tantras is Bhagavan Shiva. Many individuals, when they hear the name Tantra, they become a little doubtful, because Tantra is often associated with many illicit practices such as drinking of wine, ritualistic drinking of wine, ritualistic engagement in illicit sex, etc. This is also technically known as Panchamakar sadhana. Panchamakar is the ritualistic consumption of 5 illicit things beginning with the alphabet P, with the alphabet Ma. Matsya, Mamsa, Madira, Maithun, and then there is Mudra. So 5 things, ritualistic consumption is mentioned in some of the tantras, but tantra is a very wide term. There are tantras in the mode of pure goodness. There are tantras in the mode of passion. There are tantras in the mode of ignorance. So similarly, just as the Puranas have various modes, similarly the tantras have also in various modes. But those tantras have gained popularity in recent times which promote these particular activities, and therefore the entirety of the term tantra has gotten a negative reputation. We also have Satvat Tantra, Narad Pancharatra. All these are Vaishnav Tantras, and these are also, part of the Tantra literature spoken mainly by Bhagwan Shiva to his various associates. The Vedas contain, the second difference is that the Vedas contain swaras, Udatta, Anudatta, Swarit, higher pitch, lower pitch. So these are pitches swaras to denote the high and low intonations. Whereas the tantras don't contain swaras for high and low intonations. They are spoken in ekashruti. Ekashruti means one single pitch. Now, the major difference is only those who are born as Dvijas, Brahman, Kshatriya, and Vaishya are eligible to have access to the Vedas through Diksha, initiation by a Vedic guru. Whereas in Tantra, even those who are not born as Dvijas have access to the teachings. Even a dog eater can have access to tantras if that dog eater is properly initiated by a guru who is expert in the tantra. So all classes of human beings have access to tantras, but only the Dvijas have access to Vedas. Another distinction is Vedas mainly deal with the philosophical and theory aspects of the truth, whereas the tantras give the practical aspects, the practical details of the truth. For example, Vedas will say approach a guru and get initiated. Tantras will tell you how to get initiated, on which day to get initiated, which mantra to get initiated, what should be the qualification of the guru, what should be the qualification of the disciple, what are the favorable months for initiation, what are the unfavorable months for initiation. All of these details will be given in the tantras. The Vedas will say worship the deity of Bhagavan. The tantras will say how many times you have to show the lamp, how many times you have to show the incense, how many times you have to show the fan. All these practical details will not be found in the Veda, they'll be found in the Tantra. Veda and Tantra are like two arms of Bhagavan. And therefore, dear devotees, without understanding Tantra in today's age, there is no possibility of worshipping Bhagavan. So the mantras given in the Vedas are known as Vedic mantras. Vedic mantras, and the mantras given in the Tantras are known as Tantric mantras. So dear devotees, these are some main points of comparison between Vedas and Tantras. So the Tantras are a parallel line of scripture which make everything accessible to those who are not born as Dvijas. So this is the main difference between Vedas and Tantras. Prabhu, our Hare Krishna mantra with Hare Krishna first was found in which literature?
In the Radha Tantram.
Tantra. So which category? Ved or Tantra?
Tantra.
Tantra. So all the benefits of Tantra are applicable to that particular mantra. And for this reason, Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu never reversed the mantra given in Kali Santarana Upanishad. Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu gave the mantra that was found in the Tantras, and Tantras are not bound by qualification that binds the Vedas. Therefore, Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu gave the Maha Mantra as it is. This is our parampara, dear devotees. when we are giving such an important thing as a mantra, we are going to give it as it is, without any particular modification. And this has always been our tradition. Dear devotees, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam emphasizes the importance of tantras. In the 11th canto, there is a discussion between the Navayogendras and Maharaj Nimi. And in this discussion, one of the Navayogendras, Shri Karabhajan, says, Shri Karabhajan Uvacha Kritam Treta Dvaparam Cha Kalir Ityeshu Keshavaha Nana Varna Bhidhakaro Nanaiva Vidhinejyate. Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
Sri Karabhajana Muni said, in each of the four yugas, Krita, Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali, Lord Keshav appears with various complexions, names, and forms, and is thus worshipped by various processes.
Param Karna Prabhu, which process are we interested in? Of which yuga are we interested in?
Kali Yuga.
Kali Yuga, of course. We are interested in the method of worship in Kali Yuga. So let's see what Sri Karabhajan Muni says about all the four yugas, beginning with the first yuga, which is Satya Yuga. In this very chapter, Sri Karabhajan Muni says, Yajanti tapasa devam in 11.5.22. It says, in Satya Yuga, tapasa, Bhagavan is worshipped simply by performing austerities. There is not much study of the Vedas because simply by performing Ashtanga Yoga and meditating on the seed of the Vedas. Prabhu, what is the seed of the Vedas?
Om.
Om, Pranam. Simply by meditating on the seed of the Vedas through Ashtanga Yoga, you will achieve the worship of Bhagwan in the age known as Satya Yuga, also known as Krita Yuga. So this is mentioned by Karbhajan Muni. Now we come to Treta Yuga. Sri Karbhajan Muni in the same chapter says, Yajanti Vidyayatraya. Prabhu, in the Treta Yuga, what is the Yuga Dharma? Can you please tell me?
From here, it means by worshipping Yajanti, the knowledge, Vidya, Traya,
No,
the three.
I'm asking, what is the Yuga Dharma for Treta Yuga that you have commonly heard?
Krite Dhyayate Vishnum.
Tretayam Yajato Makhai.
Yajato Makhaihi.
Yeah.
Dvapare Paricharyayam and
Kalau Tadhari Kirtana. So
Tadhari.
for Treta Yuga, what is the Yuga Dharma? It is fire sacrifices, offering fire sacrifices, but there is no offering fire sacrifices unless one understands the Vedas. Therefore, Karbhajan Muni says, in Treta Yuga, the Lord is worshipped exclusively by knowledge given in the Vedas. Exclusively by the knowledge given in the Vedas. In Satya Yuga, only the seed of the Vedas is needed. Omkar. In Treta Yuga, the knowledge of the entirety of Vedas is needed to perform fire sacrifices. Prabhu, then we'll come to Dwapar Yuga. In Dwapar Yuga, what is the Yuga Dharma?
Paricharyayam. Deity
Deity worship.
worship.
Yes. For Dwapar Yuga, Karbhajan Muni says, Yajanti Veda Tantrabhyam. In Dwapar Yuga, the Lord is worshipped through directions shown by Vedas as well as Tantras. Both are needed because Vedas will tell you which forms of the Lord to worship, what mood to keep, but the actual details will be given in the Tantras. How many times to circumambulate the Lord? How many times to show the incense? How many times to show the fan? Finally, Prabhu, we come to our Yuga. And for our Yuga, Sri Karbhajan Muni says, Nana Tantra Vidhanena Kalavapi Tatha Shrinu. Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
In Kali Yuga too, the Lord is worshipped exclusively by following the directions of the Tantras.
Tantras. So this is Kalavapi in Kali Yuga. The main method of worship is through the Tantras. In Satya Yuga, we only need the seed of the Vedas, Omkar. In Treta Yuga, we need the Vedas. In Dwapar Yuga, we need a mixture of Vedas and Tantras. And in Kali Yuga, it is Tantras. Commenting on this verse, the original Sanskrit commentator, Srila Sridhar Swami, the favorite commentator of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, says, Nana Tantra Vidhanena iti kalau Tantra Margasya Pradhanyam Darshayati. Please read the translation, Prabhu, of Srila Sridhar Swami's commentary below.
The prominence of the path of Tantras in the age of Kali is shown in this verse through the phrase Nana Tantra Vidhanena.
Oh, wonderful. So, Prabhu, in the age of Kali Yuga, if we have to worship the Lord, which literature do we have to follow? Vedas or Tantras?
Exclusively the Tantras.
Tantras. And Prabhu, this, can you please tell me what is the verse number of Srimad Bhagavatam?
Of 11.5.31.
Prabhu, which is the next verse? Krishnavarnam tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajai Sankirtana Prayair Yajanti hi Sumedhasa. This is the immediate next verse. 11.5.32. How is Bhagavan worshipped in Kali Yuga? In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform Sankirtana prayer. Mainly they perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associate servants, weapons, and confidential companions. This is how Bhagavan is worshipped in Kali Yuga. And this is in continuance of the previous verse. So, Prabhu, we have to perform Sankirtan by following the path shown in which literature?
Tantras.
The Tantras. Because Kalau Tantra Margasya Pradhanyam, Srila Sridhar Swami has said, in Kali Yuga, the path of the Tantras is most prominent. Therefore, Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami in the Hari Bhakti Vilas say that even Brahmanas in this age will need help from Tantras. They cannot have access, easy access to the Vedas. Hari Bhakti Vilas, 5th chapter, 5th verse. Ashuddha Shudra Kalpa hi Brahmana Kali Sambhava Tesham Agama Margena Shuddhirna Shrauta Vartmana. Ashuddha Shudra Kalpa hi Brahmana. The Brahmanas born in Kali Yuga are Ashuddha, impure, and Shudra Kalpahi, similar in nature to Shudras. They may be born in a Brahmin family, but they will take up service under somebody. So, similar in nature to Shudras. They will take employment and take salary from somebody. Shudra Kalpahi, Brahmana. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas severely critiques a Brahmana who becomes an employee of somebody for money. Therefore, it says, it calls it Shvavritti, the life of a dog for a Brahmana. But Shudra Kalpahi, the Brahmanas in Kali Yuga are like that. Tesham Agama Margena Shuddhir. Their purification, their Shuddhi occurs through Agama Marg, the path of the Agamas Tantras. Na Shrauta Vartmana, not through the Shruti Marg, not through the path of the Vedas. This is Hari Bhakti Vilas 5.5. From this particular verse, Srila Prabhupada used to speak he used to rephrase this and says Kalau Shudra Sambhava. You might have heard Kalau Shudra Sambhava. In Kali Yuga, most of them are Shudras. So that is a modification of the first two lines. Ashuddha Shudra Kalpai Brahmana Kali Sambhava. So this is the source of that particular phrase that Srila Prabhupada used to say, Kalau Shudra Sambhava. In Kali Yuga, even most of the Brahmanas are like Shudras. So this is Hari Bhakti Vilas, and it clearly says that purification even of the Brahmanas is through the path of the Agamas, the Tantras, not through the path of the Vedas. Sri Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbh also gives the same conclusion. He says, Agamoktena margena stri shudrairapi pujanam. Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
Even the ladies, Shudras, etc., become eligible for worship of Bhagavan through the path of the Tantras.
Yes, so this is Sri Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbha. So, Prabhu, when we are giving Hare Krishna Mahamantra to those who are born in Shudra families, those who are born in lower than Shudra families, those who may be born in Brahmin families but fallen away from the conduct of a Brahmana, and those who are born as ladies. Are we giving them the Veda Mahamantra or are we giving them the Tantra Mahamantra?
The Tantra Mahamantra.
Yes. So this should be very importantly noted, that our Hare Krishna Mahamantra comes mainly from the Tantras. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows that in this age, the purification occurs mainly not through the path of the Vedas, but through the path of the Tantras. And therefore, the main process, the main mantra should also originate in a Tantra. All glories to Bhagavan Shiva for keeping this valuable literature for us who could not have access to the Vedas. So this, dear devotees, is the entire secret behind Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never reversed anything. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the mantra as it is. As it is. Previously, I also heard for so many years that Mahaprabhu reversed the mantra, Mahaprabhu reversed the mantra. And sometimes due to ignorance, when I was a very new devotee, out of excitement, I might have said to others, oh, Mahaprabhu reversed the mantra. But later, when you read in great detail, you come to know how vast Gaudiya Vaishnavism is. And this expanse of Gaudiya Vaishnavism humbles you and tells you that there is a lot to learn. There is a lot to learn on this path. Dear devotees, now we should also understand that although the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is mentioned in the Tantras, but the meanings of the Mahamantra, the meaning that is given in that Tantra is completely different from the meaning that we have nowadays. So, why is it that we have a different meaning of the Mahamantra? Also, Mahaprabhu gave the Mahamantra with a different meaning altogether. And that same meaning we take, the Acharyas have also given various meanings, but the meaning in the Tantra is different. Regarding this, we should know that this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which was given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this one particular mantra has various meanings. Many meanings have been given by the Acharyas. Sri Jiva Goswami gives us a very simple rule, left-hand rule. Right? What simple rule? Sri Jiva Goswami specifies in Bhakti Sandarbha. Atha jape mantra arthasya nanatvepi purushartha anukula eva asau chintya. He says in Bhakti Sandarbha, in relation to japa, even though there are many meanings of a mantra described, one should meditate only on the meaning which is conducive to the ultimate goal one wants to achieve. So this is a very simple rule given by the previous acharyas. There may be many meanings of the mantra, but we should select, and we have the freedom to select a meaning that is conducive to the ultimate end we want to achieve in spiritual life. So this, very importantly, it is like a Mahavakya. It is like a great statement of conclusion for deciding which meaning of the Mahamantra should be taken. So this is in Bhakti Sandarbha in the 296th Anuchhed. And just because Sri Jiva Goswami has said it, does it mean that Shastra has also said it? Of course, Sri Jiva Goswami never speaks without having Shastric support. So the same is also mentioned in Dharma Shastras by Sri Halayud, a great compiler of Dharma Shastra literature, who says various feelings give various outcomes. A wonderful verse. Deve tirthe dvije mantre daivagye bheshje gurau yadrishi bhavana yasya siddhir bhavati tadrishi. Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
In relation to 1, a deity, 2, a holy place, 3, a Brahman, 4, a mantra, 5, an astrologer, 6, a physician, or 7, a guru, one obtains reciprocation according to the degree and nature of one's faith.
So this is Dharma Viveka, Dharma Shastra of Sri Halayud, 18th verse. In 7 things, Deve, Tirthe, Dvije, Mantre, Daivagye, Bheshaje, Gurau, Yadrishi, Bhavana, Yasya, Siddhir, Bhavati, Tadrishi. In Deva, in a deity, whatever feeling you approach the deity will reciprocate. Tirthe, in a holy place, if you approach a holy place for liberation, the holy place will give liberation. If you approach a holy place for material enjoyment, the holy place will bestow that. Dvije, if you approach a Brahmana with less faith, you will get less results. If you approach a Brahmana very faithfully, you will get more results. Mantre, the 4th is mantra. Whatever feeling you utter a mantra with, the mantra will give that particular result. And Daivagye, astrologer, Bhechaje, a physician, and Guru, whatever is the mood with which one approaches these entities, the reciprocation is received to the same degree. So that this is a very important verse, dear devotees. In this way, many objections for Hare Krishna Mahamantra have been answered, and I have made an attempt here to give an answer to many of the objections in regard to Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Dear devotees, paraṁ vijayate śrī-kṛṣṇa-saṅkīrtanam. Supremely victorious is Shri. Another meaning of Shri is Hare. Śrī-kṛṣṇa-saṅkīrtanam. Hare Krishna Sankirtan is supremely victorious. With this, dear devotees, I'll pause my speech for today. Yadatra skhalitam kinchid vidvam saha purayantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit. If there's anything mistaken in the presentation, vidvamsa, your learned devotees, purayantu tat. Please correct those mistakes. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit. If there's anything nice, please know. Tad guroreva. It belongs to my Gurujanas. Me nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much once again, dear Param Karuna Prabhu, for kindly being the host. Thank you for reading so many things with me today. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Wow, Prabhuji, thank you. I don't know what to say. There's, I think, so much research that you have done, and you're bringing out absolutely brilliant new understandings of the origins of the Mahamantra, which is so important for all of us. That's the heart and soul of our movement. So I just can't imagine how much deep you dug and brought out this for us. And I was so moved by that 11.5.31, and it was the clue that it's to be found in the tantras was in front of our eyes all along. And with reference to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the next verse, and it took someone like you to unpack it fully for the benefit of all of us. Thank you, Prabhuji. We are so blessed to have you as our contemporary. In our lifetime, we can take the benefit of your teachings and your illuminations.
Hare Krishna. All credit to Guru Parampara, but I'm very happy to have like-minded devotees. Thank you so much. And I think we'll go to Q&A, but just a few general rules. So please don't ask any loaded questions, questions which critique or promote an individual or institution. Also, if there's any particular question from a rare obscure reference which you want me to look up, better to post it in the Q&A group. Also, there is a Q&A group for those. There are 2 groups. One is a group for announcements, where you receive a weekly announcement with a link for the talk. And there's another group for Q&A, where we discuss queries regarding these series of talks. So anyone who wishes to join that particular group for Q&A or for announcements can send an email to this particular email address, which is on your screen. please include your WhatsApp number with country code so that we know which country code it is, and then we'll send you an invite. And please keep the Q&A informal. So let's begin, Prabhu. You please take over and you can say who goes first.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. So we'll go with Kriparam Prabhu first.
Dandavat Hari Parshad Prabhu and all the Vaishnavas. I shared the last class with one of my Gurujanas, that is disciple of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti-Kaduranga Maharaj. He makes a lot of translation of the books to Spanish, and he has one question that when you explain that there are special kirtan, for example, for Gaura Lila and other kirtan for Krishna Lila, but he said that in some songs, for example, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he mixes various things. For example, in Vijayate Saloka Pravesa, he says something Rama, Krishna, Hayagriva, Nrisimha, Vamana, Parayendranandran, Yasodalal. Why in some devotional songs the author mix more bath or more feelings?
Right. So the query is that previously in the previous session it was said that Mahaprabhu's Nam Kirtan is performed in the beginning and the end, and in the between it is mainly Krishna's Nam Kirtan. But then we have songs such as Vibhavari Shesha. In Vibhavari Shesha, there is Nrsimha, Vaman, Sri Madhusudan, Rajendra Nandana, Shyam, and Jai Dasharathi Ram. Suddenly it jumps from Krishna Lila to Ram Lila, again to Krishna Lila, again to Nrsimha Lila. What is happening? So all these Leelas are pertaining to Vishnu Tattvas who are basically who are in spiritual world. You have an identity in the spiritual world with all of these entities such as Narsimha, Vaman, Sri Ram, Shri Krishna. And as a sadhaka, as a practitioner, our identity is in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he tries not to mix that sadhaka identity with identities of Siddha Deha. That is the main point being made. Ram, Narsimha, Varaha. If anybody wants to have an identity in relationship with these particular forms of Bhagavan, then they can have that, but not as a sadhaka, but as a siddha, as a perfected entity, as a perfected living being in Vaikuntha. In Vaikuntha, they will have four arms, or they will have a different name, they will have a form which looks like Bhagavan, and that identity will be different from this identity. So clearly that identity is a siddha identity, and the names which are being sung in that song are names of those forms of the Lord in relationship with whom we have a siddha identity. And the names of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in relationship to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, our identity is sadhaka identity. So traditionally, he doesn't, technically, he usually doesn't mix those two names, the names of Mahaprabhu in between the names of Krishna, because you have to suddenly jump from sadhaka identity to siddha identity to sadhaka identity. So that is what he takes care of. Otherwise, in general, in Kirtan, you can take names of various forms of Bhagavan. I will give a verse from Sri Padyavali, which is a very nice verse, where there is just Nam Kirtan and a very, very sweet meter. This is perhaps, I have not sung this meter before, but I will, yes, this is, I'm sharing my screen. This is Sri Padyavali, verse number 35. And you can see so many Nam Kirtans of so many forms of Bhagwan mixed together here. This is the verse. I will sing this verse, very sweet meter. Krishna Rama Mukunda Vamana Vasudeva Jagadguru Masya Kachapa Narasimha Varaha Raghava Pahima Devadanav Naradadi Munindra Vandya Dayanidhe Devaki Sutta Dehi Me Tava Pada Bhakti Machanchalam. Very sweet verse. Krishna, then comes Rama, then comes Mukunda, then Vaman, Vasudev, Jagadguru. So some of these verses have been inspiration for Vibhavari Shesh. We can see here clearly in the Padyavali, there's a mixture of so many names. But Sadhak and Siddha identities have not been confused. You will not find a name of Mahaprabhu here because our Sadhak identity belongs with Mahaprabhu, our Siddha identity belongs with Shri Krishna. So that is the answer to your query. I hope that satisfies your query, Prabhu.
Yes, very clear. Thanks a lot.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. We'll go to Shashank Prabhu next.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dana Pranam.
My pranams.
So, regarding this dog eater getting the qualification, it is mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion, verse number 21, which refers to Srimad Bhagavatam, that how because of the destruction of, the sinful activities, the dog eater also gets a qualification. But the qualification for what means performing Vedic sacrifices. Like, the word used is Svanyaya in the SB 333 and 6. So when a dog eater, because in the previously you mentioned difference between Vedic and Tantric. So when a dog eater gets qualification, does he get qualification for performing Tantric rituals, or also it includes Vedic rituals, or both? Because over there, even though at Adidaivic level, he has the qualities of Brahmana, but Adibhautik level, he still has the body of a dog eater. So I would like to get some clarity on that one.
Okay. So basically, your query is regarding a person who gets initiated, and then after initiation, the Shastra says, Shvadopi Sadyah Savanaya Kalpate. Immediately he becomes eligible for performing a Somayagya, a fire sacrifice. What about that particular case? So, what is the meaning of qualification there? Is it qualification only in Veda, or it is qualification only in Tantra, or what is it? So the reply to this is given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the next verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And the next verse is Durjatireva Savana Yogyatve Karanam Matam Durjatyarambakam Papam Yatsyat Prarabdham Evatat. In the commentary, he says Yogyatvam Atra Yag Adhikaritva Swarupam Eva. So Yogyatva, qualification means qualification here has the form of being able to perform the actual Som Yagya sacrifice. Can you see this, Prabhu, Shyamchandra Prabhu? Haribol?
Yes, Prabhuji. Oh, I'll
Yeah.
unmute him.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. We can see the
Yes,
screen.
Prabhuji. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
so this is the reference. Yogyatvam atra yaga adhikaritva swarupameva. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. Then he says, Nacha tadrisha swapachasya yagadhikaritve sa katham yagam na karoti iti vachyam. So one should not say that, why will such a dog eater not perform such a sacrifice even though he is qualified? Such foolish question should not be raised. Why? Tasya shuddha bhaktatvena karmani shraddha rahityat. Because he is a pure devotee now, he does not have any faith in so-called Vedic sacrifices. So even though he is technically qualified to perform a Vedic sacrifice, because he is a pure devotee, he will not perform a Soma Yagya because he doesn't want to go to Swarga. But Anye, other Satkulotpanna Grihastas, those Grihastas who are born in Brahmin families, to Shraddha Rahita api, they may not have faith in such fire sacrifices. But Loka Sangrahartham to Karma Kurvanti. But for protecting family traditions, they may do so. Then he quotes the Gita verse, Loka Sangraham evapi sampashyan kartum arhasi. Arjun, fight to protect your family traditions. So, another thing he says, Asya tu karma karne pratyuta bhakti shastra anabhigya jana pravada bhayam api pratibaddhakam asti iti gyayam. There is also another issue. There are some people who don't have faith in Bhakti literature and who think birth is the main qualification, not Bhakti. These people will unnecessarily create a scandal for some person who's born in a dog eater family and after initiation is trying to perform a fire sacrifice, Som Yagya. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur knows there are people with that mentality, with that mindset, Therefore, he says there are two reasons why, although a devotee is technically qualified to perform a fire yajna, but a devotee will not actually perform a fire yajna for two main reasons. First reason is he does not have faith in that fire yajna as being beneficial to his ultimate aim of life, Krishna Prem. Secondly, he also knows that there are some people who will create a disturbance, and it is not good to have disturbances on the path of bhakti. So I hope, Prabhu, that answers your query to some degree of satisfaction.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. We'll go to Bishwadeep Prabhu now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
My pranams.
Thank you for your class. And I want to say that one thing especially, that every time we can read the chanda from Chanda Shastra, but hearing the chanda from your mouth, the tunes are really a treat to the ears. So even though that is not my question, but I would do a cheating and just ask, after answering my question, can you mention the name of the chanda? So
Sure. So what
that
is your
was,
main query? Then I will answer your. Then I'll
yeah,
answer.
sure.
Sure.
Prabhu, my question is that you raised the Purva Paksha of someone who was raising objection about the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that mentioning that Hare or Hara is, that is not to be Hara, taken Hara as Radharani, but Krishna only. So I also read and heard about that Purva Paksha. So their point was like the Sandarbha is not of this Radharani or something like that. So that is also a satisfiable answer, that you said that Devid Tirthit Vijay Mantre. But can you give some more illumination on this point, that the Sandarbha, that the Purva Paksha's parties, they are taking the Sandarbha of the verse. So according to that, how do we prove the meaning of our Acharya, the meaning that our Acharya gave?
So we don't have to prove anybody any particular meaning, because nanatvapi, there are so many meanings. So many meanings are there. There are meanings of Mahamantra in relationship with Shiv and Shakti, Shiv and Parvati. Those meanings are also given in Radha Tantram. So we don't have to prove anything to anybody, because if somebody says that is the correct meaning, we will say you take that particular meaning, no problem. We are going to take a meaning which our acharyas have given and which is conducive to our ultimate attainment of our prema, our prem purushartha. So there is no, the only justification that can be given is that from a grammar point of view, from a Vyakaran point of view, all these interpretations by the previous acharyas are justified. If you find any grammatical mistake in those interpretations, then let us know. But you will not find a grammatical mistakes in those interpretations. Why? Because harati iti haraha, harati iti hara. Grammatically, there is no particular mistake in this particular interpretation, because from grammar point of view, there is a sutra, this particular sutra from Ashtadhyayi, Nandi Yuni Pachadibhya Ach. I will point out that Nandi Grahi Pachadibhya Yunninyachah. This particular sutra from Ashtadhyayi, this particular sutra from Panini, it gives you that particular suffix which you can use to form hara. You will form haraha using this sutra 31134 of Panini. And then from this particular sutra, from haraha, you can add the feminine suffix a, and then you get hara. So, this is that particular sutra. Grammatically, you won't find an issue with that interpretation. As long as there is no grammatical issue with interpretation, you cannot find fault with any particular shishta, any particular acharya who has given a particular meaning to the Mahamantra. Because there are some meanings which are given in the Shastra, some meanings which are given by acharyas. So the acharyas who have given the meanings are also shishta. Shishta means they are people who are considered as perfected in that particular mode of bhakti. and therefore those meanings are accepted by the disciples in their respective parampara. Because as I said last time, for Sakhya Ras also Hare Krishna Mahamantra has to work. For Dasya Ras also Hare Krishna Mahamantra has to work. For Madhurya Ras also Hare Krishna Mahamantra has to work. Otherwise, how will it become Mahamantra? And then for Mahamantra to be, to be a mantra for sadhana in all the rasas, do all the rasas need to have the same meaning or different meanings? You please tell me.
Definitely different.
Different meanings. And they need to have different meanings, those meanings have to come from the Shishta Acharyas, the learned Acharyas who are expert in those particular rasas. Sri Jiv Goswami has given a meaning, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami has given a meaning, and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami's meaning is pertaining to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna's pastimes, and he was present right in front of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Right in front of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he has, understood the Mahamantra. So there is no harm in taking those particular interpretations of the Mahamantra, because they are all approved by previous acharyas and by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu himself, who is Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So that is the answer that you can give. No? Otherwise, if you just simply want to stick to what the Shastra has given, only what the Shastra has given and nothing besides the Shastra, then how will you justify what is given in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad? Do you remember the quote from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad which says about Vedas coming out from the breathing of the Lord? Do you remember that quote?
Asya mahattva-bhutasya
Yes, wonderful. Yeah.
Rigveda Samaveda.
So, Asya Mahato Bhutasya. Let me pull out that entire quote. So, I will share my screen and you please read, Prabhu, what all came out from the breathing of the Lord. Please read.
Asya mahato bhutasya nishvasitam etat rigvedo yajurvedah
What
samaveda.
came out first? What came out first?
Rigveda.
Then what came out?
Yajurveda.
Then
Samaveda.
Atharvaveda,
Angirasa.
okay.
Itihasa
Then Puranam. Then what came out?
Vidya.
Okay. Then what came out?
Upanishad.
Okay. And
Shloka. Sutrani,
Sutras, and Anuvyakhyani. What is the meaning of Anuvyakhyani, Prabhu?
Vyakhyani is explanation. Anuvyakhyani is maybe explanation on explanation.
So explanations that follow the original Veda. That is what Anuvyakhyani is. Anu, Paschat, Vyakhyani. Vyakhyanani. Anu, Paschat, Vyakhyanani. So this is the meaning of. So the explanations are also considered as part of breathing of Bhagavan. That is the meaning of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad quote here, isn't it? Please tell me.
They would say that Anuvyakhyani is not the acharyas that are giving the Anuvyakhan are not to be considered because that is not coming from Swas of Narayan. They may give this.
It is said Anu. Anu means Paschat. Anu means that which comes after. You also know. I also know. That is the meaning of Anu. Isn't it? You cannot grammatically find a fault with that particular thing. Just as the activities before a yajna, a fire sacrifice, are counted as part of the fire sacrifice, the activities after the fire sacrifice are counted as part of the fire sacrifice. Similarly, the literature, bona fide literature and explanations which come after the main literature are counted as part of that main literature. Right? ठीक है, चलो. Let's move ahead.
We'll go to Swarupini Mataji.
Yeah.
Krishna Prabhuji, Sadhar Pranam. Please accept all my humble obeisances. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for today's nectar. One question regarding Tantra versus Vedas that you explained. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given a tantric way. That's what you mentioned. So then what is the meaning that was defined in the Tantra for Hare Krishna mantra versus the one that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave? Is there a difference? or the meaning is the same?
No, there is a difference. As I said, the difference is that in the Tantra, especially in the Tantra which we have a printed edition, I don't know the meaning which was given in Sanat Kumar Samhita, because that we don't have a printed edition of that. But the meaning which was given in Sri Radha Tantram is pertaining to Bhagwan Shiva and Parvati, and that meaning is not the meaning that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas accept. But at least as far as the sequence of the mantra is concerned, it is found in the Tantra. And the meaning of the mantra is given by the previous acharyas. But in Sanat Kumar Samhita, the same sequence is also found, but I'm not sure about what meaning is given there. But the same sequence is found in Sanat Kumar Samhita also. Due to lack of a printed edition of Sanat Kumar Samhita, I do not have access to the meaning that is given there. But the acharyas have not always remained restricted to the meanings which are given there. The acharyas give meanings based on their personal samadhi and realization, as we can see in the commentaries of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, etc. Any one of those meanings which has been given by the previous acharyas, which is conducive to our ultimate attainment, can be taken. Sri Jiva Goswami has said that very clearly. I showed the Bhakti Sandarbha quote where Sri Jiva Goswami is saying, although there are so many meanings of a particular mantra, any meaning that is favorable to the attainment of one's ultimate aim of life can be taken. So that particular quote from Bhakti Sandarbha was also shown. I hope that satisfies your query, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I was driving, so I couldn't able to concentrate completely on the screens.
Sure.
But
No
did you
worries.
explain anywhere where, like it, depending upon our state of chanting, will the meaning also change for us, for an individual, when we are chanting for the first time versus when you are chanting for many years? Will the meaning also change for an individual?
No, Mataji, it is not going to be spoon feeding in this particular area. In that particular case, in the case of uttering the Mahamantra, the Guru will give direction that this is the meaning that should be taken. But after a few years of practice, if the disciple becomes self-driven and self-motivated to the degree that the disciple feels encouraged to take a new meaning, Shastra will not stop such a disciple from taking up a new meaning. There is no such restriction for the disciple. Sri Jiva Goswami has already said that. So it is not that from beginning to the end, the acharyas will give various levels of meanings to take. The process is a very free-flowing voluntary process. In the beginning, there are some rules. Later, the devotee has to understand the science of raga. And after understanding the science of raga, the meanings of the Mahamantra that need to be taken are automatically revealed. So that is the answer to your query.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We will go to Satya Sankalp Prabhu now.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Part of my question has already been answered in the previous query. Just a small extension to that. You mentioned about like how the Mahamantra is different in the Tantras and the Vedas. Is there an understanding of why that difference occurs? Like why Hare Ram is first mentioned in the Vedas? Is there a difference in mood or any other aspect?
There is no explanation given as to why the change of order in the Tantra, but at least the purpose that we wish to have in Kali Yuga, we want to have a mantra which is primarily from the Tantra literature, and it should have Hare Krishna first. That purpose is served. So at least we know that, but there is no further information given as to why the mantra is found in such a sequence in the Tantra and another sequence in the Veda.
All right. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So I have a question from my side.
Sure.
So you had mentioned in one of the previous classes, this Mahamantra is also given in Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Right.
So if I understand sort of the intent of today's presentation that you made was to show evidences from the Tantra literature about the validity of the Mahamantra, and to also substantiate the fact that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't, do all this inverting or whatever, reversing and so on.
Right.
But if one's mind is, let's say, not disturbed by those aspects that did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reverse, or where exactly is this mantra to be found in the fundamental shastras, and if one's faith is in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it's right there, then for much part today's discussion may not be applicable to the devotee, because it's there in one of the most fundamental shastras, which is Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Right.
None other than Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. Am I understanding this correctly, Prabhuji?
Yeah, but in the Chaitanya Bhagavat also, when the Mahamantra is quoted, the source is not quoted. Usually for all the verses that are quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita or Chaitanya Bhagavat, all the Sanskrit verses, the source is mentioned. That, Padma Purane, or it says Hari Bhakti Vilase, Padyavalyam, it is from the Padyavali, Hari Bhakti Vilas, Padma Puran. But when it comes to Hare Krishna, then no source is mentioned. So, in any instance of the Mahamantra, the Kali Santarana Upanishad is not mentioned as the source in Chaitanya Bhagavat or any other such biography. So, we do not know for sure whether the Mahamantra was taken from the Veda and then reversed. But surely Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not of that nature. And there is no such mention that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reversed the mantra. Especially when the mantra is found in the same sequence that Mahaprabhu chanted in the Tantras. And also, since in Kali Yuga, Tantras are the prominent path to take. Vedic path is almost closed. So, and also Mahaprabhu gave it to anyone and everyone without checking the qualification by birth. So Mahaprabhu is not somebody who will just take a Vedic mantra and then give it to anyone and everyone without qualification. Because Mahaprabhu also understands that that same Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who would eat only at the home of somebody who is born as a Brahmana. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he took sannyas, he would eat only at the home of somebody who is born as a Brahmana. Do we think he will do such a thing, that he will give away the mantra freely to anyone and everyone? Of course, the mantra that he has given is not the mantra that originated in the Veda, but it originated in the Tantra. So that is what, the Sanat Kumar Samhita also gives the correct sequence, and Sanat Kumar Samhita is also a Tantra. Next time, perhaps I'll bring up the quote from Sanat Kumar Samhita, even though there is no printed edition of it. Still, whatever verses are attributed to Sanat Kumar Samhita, I'll bring them up next time.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So just related to this, there's a query on the chat. So this might be a good point to bring that up. So this devotee, Bhagavad Katha Prabhu, is asking, so if you have any idea, again, without going into individuals or institutions, as to where this concept of this reversing came about.
No,
or if you think that's not necessary, then we can leave that out.
No, I don't know who is the origin of this particular line of thought. Frankly speaking, since the day I came in contact with devotees and the first time I encountered the question, I have been hearing such answers. So I'm not sure of the origin of that particular thing. At least in the biographies, there is no mention that Mahaprabhu reversed it. Because if it would be in the biographies, it would be very popular. There is nothing in the biographies that Mahaprabhu reversed the mantra. So if it's not in the biographies, it's just somebody, it has come from somebody's mind. That is what I'd like to say.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay, we'll go to Sakhi Sharan Prabhu.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Very good.
I think, thank you. It was a wonderful class. A few questions. Just now you mentioned about the Upanishad, which speaks the breathing of the Lord, the quote of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Is there any verse also mentioning that all the Smriti, Puranas, Itihas, etc., they follow the Shrutis? And if it is so, then if the Shruti has that text of the Mahamantra, how do we correlate it with Tantra?
No, there is a quote in Manu Smriti which says that when Shruti and Smriti are in conflict, Shruti should be taken as the guiding light. When
Right.
Vedas and Smritis are in conflict, the Vedas should be taken as the guiding light. But here there is no conflict really, there is just a different sequence. So a conflict arises when there are two opposing opinions given by the Shruti and the Smriti. So there's no two opposing opinions, it's just a different sequence of the mantra. And since Shruti is also emanating from the body of Bhagwan, and this tantra was also spoken, this particular Hare Krishna sequence was also spoken by Sri Vasudev, Bhagwan Vasudev. So therefore, both the sources of both of them is Bhagwan himself. So technically speaking, it's just a difference of the order, the Anupurvi. Anupurvi means the sequence of words. And it is very much possible that, sequence of words may be different in certain mantras, in Vedas and in Tantras. It is very much possible. There may be many other mantras where the sequence may appear differently in different literature. Technically, that is not considered as a conflict. It's just a variation of reading, which is all right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the other point which you also mentioned, can I take it up or maybe let others finish?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned about the tantras in the Satya, both are not used. The Vedas, Shrutis also, as well as the tantras. But in the Treta, it is considered with only Vedas, and in the Dwapara, tantras and the Vedas, and Kali is only tantras.
Yeah,
Am I right?
in Satya Yuga, the main process is dhyan on what, and dhyan on pranav, because the Yoga Sutra also says tasya vachaka pranava tad japas tadartha bhavanam. That is basically what Ashtanga Yoga is. That you meditate on pranav, you constantly chant pranav, omkar. And actually, the Vedas in their full-fledged expanse, the process began in Treta Yuga, and the fire sacrifices started happening in Treta Yuga, and that is why you need Vedic knowledge in Treta Yuga, and that is the main process to attain Bhagwan. Dwapar Yuga, deity worship, you need a mixture of Vedic knowledge plus knowledge from the tantras, and Kali Yuga is Harinam Sankirtan. So for that, you don't need, very few references from the Vedas are speaking about Harinam Sankirtan. Most of it is found in the Tantras. So mainly it is the path of the Tantras. So that is
So
how.
the point. Sorry. The point I wanted to ask is, suppose in Treta we say that Vedas were the part which had to be performed for sacrifices. Tantra was not used. So that means the Agama Shastras. So when they did Pushtakameshriya Yagya or any Ashwamedh Yagyas, so it was not coming from the Tantras, the Agama Shastras?
No,
many of
the details were coming from Griya Sutras, Brahman literatures. There are supplementary Vedic literatures, Griya Sutras, Brahman literature. So those literatures were giving the details. Even today, if you see the Griya Sutras, Brahman literature, there's also Kalpa Shastra. Kalpa Shastra gives the measurements for building the Yagya Vedi, etc. But they are not coming from Tantras, they are coming from Vedic literature.
Right.
But for deity worship, the details definitely came from Agam Shastra, from Tantra Shastra. Right?
Nice. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So then we have Abhay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
My pranams.
Thank you very much for your class. I had a small question that this Parishad Upanishad is mainly quoted by Srila Prabhupada. I don't know till what extent, like in Bhaktivinoda Dhara, like from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, has this been quoted, or till what extent have Acharyas quoted this?
See, the Karisantana Upanishad with Hare Krishna mantra first, was published by the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So, one argument is also that the mantra was given as it is from the Karisantana Upanishad, and Mahaprabhu relaxed it for everybody. So that argument also can be taken. But in this particular presentation, my aim is to specify that edition of Karisantana Upanishad which is most widely published and accepted in the world, which has Hare Ram first. So if I would be giving a talk only to a particular Gaudiya Vaishnava audience, then I could say, we just took it from Kali-Santaran Upanishad, it had Hare Krishna first, and that's what Mahaprabhu gave. But in reality, if you check all the printed editions of Kali-Santaran Upanishad, and you also know this fact, what comes first, Please tell me.
Hare Ram.
So Hare Ram comes first. In practice, in most of India, what is uttered first?
Hare Ram.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in most of the Karma Kand ceremonies, Hare Ram is uttered first. That's because the Upanishad has Hare Ram first. From that point of view, also we need to understand that the mantra is not only in the Upanishad, it is also in the Tantras. And in the Tantras, it definitely comes with Hare Krishna first, not with Hare Ram first. So at least the main point was to answer the accusation that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reversed the mantra. Mahaprabhu doesn't need to reverse the mantra. The mantra is already found in that sequence in the Tantras. There is no need to reverse the mantra. That is, and also it fits with the narrative that in Kali Yuga Tantras are most prominent. The narrative that is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I hope that answers your query.
Yes. Thank you.
We'll go to Vishwadweep Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hi, Vishnu Prabhu.
Okay.
Prabhu, it seems that I'm last, so can I ask two?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. So, Prabhu, before asking, can you just mention the chanda if you could?
Chanda,
Chanda,
Achha.
chanda.
So that the chanda is Matta Kokila. Matta Kokilam. Okay, Matta Kokilam. Right? Matta
Okay.
Kokilam means intoxicated cuckoo. That is the meaning. Right? Matta Kokilam is the chanda.
Okay,
Rare,
Prabhu, thank you so much.
rare chanda, but good to sing.
It like pronounced similar to Matta Mayura. I was
Matta
thinking.
Mayura is different.
Yeah.
The name is similar to Matta Mayura, but Matta Mayura has a different tune. Govindasya tamsita vamshi kvanitodya lasyotkanఠa matta mayura prajavita radha kundo tungatarangāṅkuritanga pratyāśām me tvam kuru govardhana purna. That's Matta Mayura.
Yeah. Okay. So my first point is, can you please share with us from where do you get this awesome tunes of singing? Is it from some online source or from offline you go to someone who is big of this subject?
See, my first and my original source was my Sanskrit teacher, from whom I heard many of the meters, and he was very strict, and he held a stick in his hand whenever he used to come and teach us. So I'll be very honest, I got beaten many times in my childhood because my Sanskrit teacher was very strict, very strict. I still am carrying a mark on my left hand, which was because of his beating. So, and I'm very thankful to him that he taught me in the way that was appropriate for that time and appropriate for a lazy student like myself. So I learned, out of fear at least, I learned. I'm very grateful to my teacher that he had that method of discipline. If you come 5 minutes late to the class, you are sent back home. If you don't memorize anything in the class, the stick is coming for you. So and if you memorize everything nicely, then he would give many sweets. He was very nice. He was not a cruel person, a very father-like figure. But in those days, discipline was like that. And it was, I very much appreciate the fact that I had such a good teacher. So it came from my teacher, first and foremost. And secondly, whenever I visit some yagya or some marriage ceremony, I keep listening to the utterances of the brahmanas who are singing. So I have a keen ear for those brahmanas who are singing. So In Maharashtra, when there is a wedding, the Brahmana are singing in Shardula Vikriditam tune. So I hear often how they are singing Shardul Vikriditam tune. So they are singing various verses, and then I pick up that tune and I understand which meter it is. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratas chartheshvabhigya swarat tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye muhyanti yat suraya. There is something called Mangalashtakam in a Maharashtrian wedding. They sing the Mangalashtakam in this Shardul Vikriditam meter, and you hear the various tunes. So whenever you go to a Brahmin Sabha, you can get to hear many of these meters. But most of my meters came from my childhood source. There was also my Kul Guru, the the Brahmin who used to do ceremonies for my family. His name was Sri Vaishampayan, a very traditional name, Vaishampayan. He was very aged, and from him also I heard many of the tunes. And there was another Brahmana to whom I would go once I had visited him for some astrological purposes. And he was a worshipper of Bhagwan Parshuram. So he was also very expert in singing chandas. So in Maharashtra, the state to which I belong, many people have the surname Pingre. Pingre, the surname comes from Pingal Muni, who is the origin of Chanda Shastra. So the descendants of Pingal Muni are in Maharashtra, and you can see many people here sing the meters very nicely. Another place where meters are sung very nicely is Nepal. So in Nepal, you will find many people, many Sanskritists who are singing the meters very nicely. So at least these are my sources of inspiration. And from time to time, Bhagwan keeps giving some source of learning, and I'm very happy to receive new learning from any valid source. So I hope that answers your question.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Happy to get such teacher who is still so keen of learning everything. So may this guna also inculcate on some drop at least of this quality. So
Right.
my
Yeah.
second point is the Brahma Nam Shila that you showed, as per I saw just now, I think it was not written in Bengali, but it is written in Assamese.
Which one, Prabhu?
The Nam Shila that you showed, right? The
Yeah.
Brahma Nam Shila.
Yeah. So it appears similar
that
to
is, I
Bangla
guess,
character, but it has some Assami character, maybe V and R
Ra.
are interchanged in Assamese. But I think there was some mention that old Bengali also had this interchange. The descendants of Sri Nityanand Prabhu, they had written an article about this. It said that in some old style writing of Bengali, V and R would often be written as the same symbol. So their argument is still that it is in Bangla, but in any case, it is Mahamantra. So whatever, it's Assamese or Bangla, it's more or less, both are very
I
similar.
was interested because you told that it is coming from Madhavendra Puri. I was thinking how that Assamese character.
Yeah. But I'm glad you're able to recognize the characters. I found it difficult to recognize when I looked at it for the first time. But I'm fortunate we have a darshan of the Mahamantra Shila of Sri Madhavendra Puri. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
There are a couple of online questions. So
Sure.
Radhakanta Prabhu, can we put Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna on the altar at the same height and worship?
The same height and worship. In the Gaudiya Math, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari. So you will see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with Shri Radha and Krishna, and the similar heights only. You can visit any Gaudiya Math and you can see for yourself. Pratyaksham Pramanam. Directly you can see the Praman. There's not an issue. Right?
Yeah. Then there is another question which I'm not sure if I want to bring it up, but I'll still, just for sake of completeness, that you said Vedas shouldn't be uttered by unqualified people and loudly, but Bhagavad Gita is recited in common gatherings loudly. So that's the question, but I'm just thinking that Bhagavad Gita is not from the Vedas, it's from the Smritis, from the
Yeah,
Mahabharata.
Bhagavad Gita is Itihas and Puran, and Sri Vyasadeva compiled Itihas and Puran for those individuals who are not eligible for the Vedas. So Bhagavad Gita is within the Mahabharata.
Right. So that clarifies that. And the next question is kind of related by Ravi Sharma Prabhu, saying that Srimad Bhagavatam is Nigama, or I'm adding this Nigama Kalpataror, and is not Tantra, but it is described as the main scripture of Kali Yuga. So how do we understand that?
Itihas and Puran are known as fifth Veda that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Panchamo Veda Uchyate. That is, I will specify the quote. This is 1:4:20. I will share my screen so that everybody can have a look. ऋग् यजु साम अथर्वाख्या वेदाश्चत्वार उद्धृता इतिहास पुराणम च पंचमो वेद उच्यते. This is 1:4:20. The Itihas, historical facts, Mahabharata, Ramayana, and the Puranas are known as the fifth Veda. So the fifth Veda shares many characteristics with the four Vedas, but also has some different characteristics. So Acharyas give the logic Brahman Parivrajak Nyaya. Brahman Parivrajak Nyaya. So short and sweet, Brahman Sannyasi Nyaya. And the maxim of the Brahman and the Sannyasi. A sannyasi needs to be a Brahmin. Every sannyasi needs to be a Brahmin. Traditionally, in older times, every sannyasi needs to be a Brahmin. But every Brahmin will not be a sannyasi. I hope you are able to understand. So similarly, the Puranas will have characteristics, will be counted as Vedas, but they may not have all the characteristics of the Vedas. So that is Brahman Parivrajak Nyaya. So a sannyasi has many characteristics of a Brahmana, but not all characteristics. A sannyasi traditionally does not wear a Brahmin thread, although he is a Brahmana. He doesn't wear the Brahmin thread. A sannyasi doesn't have shikha. Traditionally, a sannyasi does not have the tuft of hair behind. Shri Swarup Damodar Goswami removed his shikha, he removed his Brahmin thread when he took sannyas. So, Parivrajak, a sannyasi, is a Brahmana minus certain qualities. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is Veda minus certain qualities. I hope you are able to understand. So that it becomes accessible to everybody. So that is Brahman Parivrajak Nyaya, which is given in the commentary of Sri Jiva Goswami. So one can refer to that Nyaya.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. Then we have one long query here. I'll just read it out. I haven't read it myself, so I can't summarize. So I'll just read it out aloud. Prabhuji, you said that Tantras mention the vidhi of doing something or anything, that's what's written. So how come we say that for chanting the names of Lord Hari, there are no rules and regulations? Okay. I mean, the mantra is in the Tantra, but no rules. Is there any reference of the associated rules in Tantra?
See, the Mahamantra is there in the Tantra, and the Tantra does not specify any specific rule for utterance of it. Also, the Sanat Kumar Samhita also is another Tantra where the Mahamantra is mentioned, and there are no specific rules associated with it given there. And Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also going to emphasize this fact when he says, Nam Namakari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. So when Hare Krishna Mahamantra is seen as a set of names, as a set of Nam, then there are no specific rules which are associated with the utterance of it. And forget about the mantra and the Tantra. The mantra and the Veda also doesn't have any rule associated with it. In the Veda itself, when Hare Ram comes first, Brahma says Na Asya Vidhi. There is no specific rule associated with it. But at least initiation is required for the mantra, for the Veda mantra. So that initiation is for the Dvijas, for the Brahmanas. And for the Tantra, even those who are not Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, they also can get initiated. They also can freely chant the Mahamantra. So, the Kali Santarana Upanishad that Veda mantra with Hare Ram first is, since it is a Veda mantra, Upanishad mantra, in order to chant that Veda mantra, you will need to have initiation through a guru who is a Dvija, who is a Brahmana. But when it comes to the tantras, those restrictions are removed. So that is the answer to that particular query.
There's one more, a little long, so I haven't read it again. I'll read it out aloud. This is from Vasudev Prabhu. This says, the Mahamantra mentioned in the Kali Santarana Upanishad is specifically meant for the people of Kali Yuga, and it says that there is no better means seen in all the Vedas. But since Srimad Bhagavatam says that the Lord is only to be worshipped through the tantras in Kali Yuga, then for whom is the Kali Santarana Mahamantra meant? Only for the few Dvijas in Kali Yuga who have qualifications to recite Shruti mantras?
If you go to the Madhva Sampradaya, they will also chant the Mahamantra, but they will chant with Hare Ram first. And they will say that, this particular mantra is in the Shruti, and that is how those who are qualified, they can get initiated and chant this mantra. There is a book I have, Madhva Mantra Ratnakar, a very nice book, which has many mantras from the Madhva Sampradaya, and this being one of them, Hare Ram first. So those particular sampradayas who have dvijas, who have brahmanas, who have a tradition of having this Mahamantra, they are the ones who are basically chanting with Hare Ram first, and that too after receiving it in a Guru Parampara. So I am giving the name of the book, Madhva Mantra Ratnakar, and one can find various mantras of the Madhva Sampradaya, including this one, in that particular book. Let me also show the title page of the book so that people get an idea of how the book looks. Yeah. I'm sharing my screen to show the title of the book. Prabhu, you can read the Devanagari here.
Yeah. Shri Madhva Mantra Ratnakara Sthanam
Vishayanam Krama Prakar. There is the sequence of topics in Madhva Mantra Ratnakar. So this is a book, Madhva Mantra Ratnakar. There are many, many mantras given there. So there is Shuddhi, Narayana Ashtakshar mantra, Brahma Gayatri mantra, Matrika mantra, Purush Sukta, Vishnu Shadakshar, Vishnu Gayatri, Vitthal mantra, Venkatesh mantra, Shushumar mantra, Nam Traya mantra. Many mantras are there, given there. So similarly, how to chant those mantras? These mantras are received in the Guru Parampara of Sri Madhva Sampradaya. Bhim mantra, Madhva mantra, all those mantras are given here. Similarly, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is also received with Hare Ram first in the Madhva Sampradaya. So those who are interested, they can find out more about this from Sri Madhva Sampradaya.
Wonderful, Prabhuji, wonderful. Thank you so much. So that brings us to the end of today's wonderful session. So thank you, Prabhuji. Let me allow everybody to unmute and give a big round of applause, heartfelt gratitude to Prabhuji's deep research and all the nectar that he's sharing with us. This is timeless. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare
Parshad
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you very much.
Shri
Krishna
Prabhupada
Prabhuji.
ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai,
Jai
Jai
Jai.
Prabhupada.
Iskre Hari Parshad Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Srila Prabhupada
Thank you,
ki jai.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a wonderful class today. Absolutely fantastic. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, dear devotees, for joining. And if Prabhuji, nothing else comes up, we will see you all next week again and relish the nectar of Same verse, Prabhuji, or the next verse next week?
Most likely the same verse.
Oh, we are continuing on verse 1.
Hari
Wonderful.
bol. Hari bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Since you are the host, you can, end the meeting at any time, Prabhuji.
Sure. Thank you.
Hari bol. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.